In this video, we will learn how to use the Psychoacoustics module of VRX Sound to study the sound quality and to see which indicators are available in the software. First, open the sound which is provided as data. It is composed of several channels. It's now open in the software, and you can go to the module menu and open the Indicators Psychoacoustics menu. This will open a new window in order to calculate the indicators. And here you will see on this interface where to select the indicators you are interested in, the signals on which you want to compute the indicators, and the computation is here. First, let's select all the sounds, and notice that within these sounds there are some stereo sounds, so with two channels, and they appear individually here because we compute indicators channel per channel. So I will remove the second channel because in this case they are the same. And let's now explore how to compute and compare indicators on different sounds. You can see here that you have several predefined profiles depending on what you want to target in your study. For example, let's start with standard levels. Standard levels contains all the ELEC dB computation on SPL and on A, B, and C weighting. And now let's compute. Once you have computed your indicators, the results appears into a table, and you can, for example, compare the sound level of all the sounds, which are basically the same, around 80 dB for all of them. For example, let's listen to pink noise. This one and this one, they have the same energy in dB, but sounds different. Okay, and you can also see in A-weighted level that they can have differences because they don't cover the same frequency band. Let's now have a look at the perception-related indicators, which is loudness. Here, as all our sounds are stationary, we can go to the loudness for stationary sound and again compute. Okay, now we have indicators for the loudness according to ISO or Ansys standard and in sound and phone. Sound is a linear scale, and phone is converted to something similar to dB called phone. It's logarithmic conversion. And we can see that we start to see differences in the loudness levels among the different sounds. For example, it looks like pink noise is the one perceived as the most loud, and there is a loudness difference with when we compare to this sine modulated at 70 Hertz. Okay, so this gives a first estimation and overview of the loudness of the sounds. Let's now also examine intelligibility indexes. You can find it here. These indicators are dedicated to assess how will the speech will be intelligible in the sound we provide to the algorithm. Let's compute it. Okay, and for example, in this articulation index, if we focus on the this version of the index, it's between 0 and 100%. 0 means speech is not intelligible in this kind of noise, and 100% means it's fully intelligible. For example, this sound, provided it's level 2. It is probably not played as a real level in your headphone, is very harmful for the intelligibility, while if we speak into this kind of sound, speech will be much more intelligible during a conversation. Another interesting set of indicators is about tonality. So I go there and we can see the prominence ratio, tone to noise ratio, and standardized indicators that will appear also here. Let's launch the computation and we will be able to compare, for example, tonal audibility according to ISO norm to tonal adjustment, which is in the DIN norm standard. Okay, let's have a look at this. And we can see in this case that these indicators are dedicated to assess if there are pure tones, so it means pure signs, which are present and here that emerging into the sound. Of course, in this white noise, we have a tonal audibility of 0. It means that there is no tone which is hearable in this sound. And this is confirmed by listening to it. It is the same for the pink noise. It's just noise. But in this one, for example, sign plus noise, we can see that there is probably a tone which is inside. And this is the case. And we can also hear it that it is emerging from the background noise itself. And of course, this one is very important because it's just signs. So in this case, there is no background noise, and so tonal audibility is very important. And if you are interested in specific indicators or a set of specific indicators, you can also go to the first menu, which is a custom profile. And here, through the edit button, you can choose any indicator you are interested in and create your own set, and then save it and load a previously saved set of indicators. Let's go there. And in this menu, you will have an exhaustive list of all the indicators that are available into the software. So let's, for example, check dBSPL versus time. And also here, for the calculation versus time, you can also access to the parameters of specific indicators. In this case, you can choose which setting you want to have. Let's say, for example, impulse for the calculation of the level versus time. And it is the same for all the indicators. You have speech intelligibility level, spectral centroid, the loudness. So let's also check two of them, roughness and fluctuation strength. Let's have the value which is checked. Tonality indexes, let's just select one in order to have it as a result in the table. Intelligibility, we also have seen an articulation index before. Let's check the automotive version. Effective perceived noise level for aeronautics, and psychoacoustic annoyance equation, which is an indicator proposed by Zwicker. And you can also define your own indicator from there by choosing polynomial and choosing a linear combination of different indicators because you know they are important and have a specific weight into the sound you want to evaluate. Okay, let's not check it, but it's important that you know it is here. Okay, once you have made your choice, just click OK and you will see the list of the selected indicators. And the table is also updated. You can see that some of them are not yet calculated. So let's compute them. Okay, so here you can have a table with all the indicators. If you go to full screen, You can see that sometimes you also have a display button, which can lead you to display a specific curve or specific details on the indicator's calculation. For example, I can display and compare TBSPL versus time for the sine, so we can see it is evolving here. So we perceive this evolution of level versus time. And let's compare it to the ping noise, simply a ping noise, which is stationary, so always the same level all along the sound. And just in order to compare them, you can overlay both curves, okay, and just compare them. It's very useful to have comparison of indicators or sound level indicators or sound quality indicators versus time in this case. Another kind of things you can have access to in the indicators is also the details of specific indicators. So temporal means versus time, and details means you can have access to more information. For example, if I go to the detail of sine plus noise on the ISO, and also have access to the details of the calculation, which are sometimes useful. You can see that if tones have been detected and what is the main tonal audibility of the sound in this case, and the level of the tones which are detected uh, into the sound. Once you have calculated your indicators, they all appear in the table. And to store this data for further analysis or just to keep into your records, you can export them into text file, Excel file, CSV file, and also export the curves. If I choose export indicators into a text file, I will just output all the calculated indicators, which are figures, though, such as scalar indicators, into a single file for all the signals I am interested in. So all the ones who are in the table. So I save it here, and just to show you what is inside, if I open my file, I have all the indicators for all the sounds. So the name of the sound, some information, and all the indicators. Another way to do is to export indicator into an Excel file. So the same indicators into an Excel file. So here you have to choose to create a new file or just open and store into an existing file. It can help you to store new calculation into an existing file with previous indicators on another dataset, and it will add at the end of the file. And exporting into indicators in CSV format is basically the same, but it will you don't need to have Excel installed on your computer in order to be able to use this feature. Excel needs Excel to be installed, or this one just created a CSV file, which is basically text that is supported by Excel and other software. So if I do it, so indicators again, now in CSV format, it is also possible to open it in columns just by importing and just checking. It's nice, and you have columns and rows with all the values, which is maybe more convenient than the raw text export. Okay, and the last choice is to export the curves. We have seen that we have curves that are also in the table. So this choice allows you to export only the curves into a folder with one file, one CSV file per signal. So if I do it, I can check it to output data, and files are created, one CSV file for each sound in my table. And if I open it, for example, sine plus noise, I will have, in this case, only dBs, PL versus time, and temporal tonality as columns, with the time and all the indicators following it in the rows.